Felicity. You're looking very pretty today.
He's done something wrong. Anytime your husband's nice and calls you sweetie and tells you how pretty you are, wonder what he's done.
Really? Well, let's get on with some Q&As instead then. Tara Frager, how can I begin training for my Frenchie to be in the dog shows?
What? How does she train her Frenchie to be in the dog shows?
Yes. Well, so we're not in dog shows, so
you're asking the wrong people.
You're asking the wrong people. But I mean, here's the thing: obedience. That's what you got to teach your dog for dogs.
Manners.
Manners and obedience. How to be around other dogs, behave properly. You know, how to walk by your side, how to stay when you're asked to stay, how to let a judge, you know, feel all over their body when they've got them up and feeling them for structure.
I don't know.
Yep. So, but again, we're not really the right people to answer that. Next question. Lucy, I've seen some, I'm talking about Frenchies here, I've seen some with bigger tails, I've seen some with no tail at all. Can you speak about tails, please? This is Lucy. So, yeah, we can. So, what's a Frenchie supposed to have? Tell me what's Frenchie supposed to have for a tail.
Long tail. They need some tail.
Right, you don't want what's called an inverted tail.
You need a tail about, about the size of my thumb probably.
Yes.
Would be enough tail.
If it's a perfect world, a Frenchie would have a small tail that hangs down, about like my thumb is, about like that, to a nice, basically a nice point with some hair coming off it. That'd be the perfect Frenchie tail. What's not a perfect Frenchie tail is one that is what we call a gay tail, a tail that's sticking up like this. That's called a gay tail. You don't want to see that.
Or sticking up like this when they're running around.
Yeah, sticking up like this. You know, a tail that's that long is way too much tail. Or a tail that is, I'll try and a tail that is just almost, you see this here is almost disappeared. My thumb here is the tail, right?
About an
It's
inch and a half, 2 inches.
Almost disappeared inside. And the problem with that is you can get poop stuck underneath it right here. It's called an inverted tail. None of these are like life-threatening or anything like that, but it's just.
I don't think you want anything over 3 inches.
No, that's too much.
That's too much.
Oh yeah, 3 inches. That's 3 inches. No,
Oh,
no,
that's
you.
too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want like an inch of tail or something.
Inch and a half.
Inch at the most. Go look at the video on Chanel's dogs. They've got nice tails, and you'll get an idea. You'll get an idea of what your someone tells. But I mean, I have seen people who've called me up or sent me videos of pictures with tails that are like crazy long. I mean, 4, 5, 6 inches long. There's something genetic, and there's a whole litter. Something got to that dog probably that was not a Frenchie.
Oh yeah.
Because
So.
Frenchie to a Frenchie, it's going to be a hereditary thing. You got a dog with a long tail, put it in another dog with a long tail, you're going to get long-tailed dogs, or most of them. Anyway, there we go. Enough on that one. Marty Mark, can you please speak on dual registration, AKC, CKC, ABKC, ADBA, etc.? How, who, where, when, what, why? Okay. So there are a number of, well, of course, internationally there's 20 different. Now we're talking Frenchies here, but it's true of all dogs. In America, AKC, American Kennel Club, that's the registration that you want to have behind your dog if it's a Frenchie. Now, if it's there's other dogs that have got other registrations, like there's certain registrations for bulldogs that's particular to them, and I just don't know about that, so I can't answer on that. Then there's things like in America, you've got APR, American Pet Registry, complete waste of time. APR doesn't even know anything about the genetics of the dog or the pedigree. They're just taking money from people to give them a pedigree certificate. I mean, anybody who wants to, how do I say this? If you're breeding dogs that people want to have puppies from them, they should be looking in America for AKC registration. If they're in Canada, they should be looking for CKC, Canadian Kennel Club. If they're in England, they should be looking for the UK or United Kingdom Kennel Club. Now, be careful on the monikers, because like you see, there's a thing called a CKC, which could be the Canadian Kennel Club in Canada, is the Continental Kennel Club in America, and it's like APR. It doesn't mean squat. It's a meaningless registration in my book. So, can you have dual registration? Absolutely. I've got dogs. We've got dogs that have been imported from England, and those dogs have both CKC registration and AKC registration. Is that a big thing? No. As long as it's
anymore. We don't have those.
yeah, we do.
CKC.
Yeah, we do. got some dogs that came from the UK that have got CKC stuff. Cody's got some. Cody's got who's his homie Esme baby.
Oh, go fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the UK registration?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. I thought you meant CKC.
No, we used to have a couple of CKC dogs. They're long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, long gone. They're Merles.
Anywhere.
Now we found out that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Yeah, we moved them
long
on.
time ago.
And they were nice dogs. There's nothing wrong with them at all. I mean, they're nice dogs, but they didn't have the AKC registration.
Nope.
And I mean, here's the deal: you're going to lose, on average, about a third of the value of the litter if you don't have an appropriate registration. So you can go to the AKC site and go to foreign registration, and they will show you all of the dogs that are from other countries that are acceptable for AKC registration. So you get an idea, and it's a long list. It's a long list. Now, let's just talk a second about if you go buy a dog from overseas and you want to get it to be AKC, you've got to go through some hoops to get there. You have to have an export pedigree from that. It has to be in your name. So you've got to go get the dog registered in your name. Then you've got to go get an export pedigree, a 5-generation or 3-generation export pedigree, to be able to. Then you've got to apply for the AKC registration in the US, and that costs you another $120. This whole thing can take you quite some time. If you're dealing with the UK, United Kingdom's Kennel Club, they are awful about responding to anything. Just to try to use their site to pay for anything is a nightmare. So I've done this a number of times, and every time I've been pulling my hair out. And you can call. I spent an hour and a half on the phone, didn't get anywhere, didn't even get to talk to anybody, $100 phone bill. So if you can go get a dog that's already registered in your name for the person you're buying from in that country, and with an export pedigree, you will save yourself a lot of time and effort, and probably a couple of $100 on top of that too. So dual registration. So what we're talking about dual registration. Let's talk about dual studs for a moment. What happens if you've got, if somebody wants to use 2 stud dogs on your female? You want to use 2 stud dogs. You do. Can you do that? Absolutely. The AKC doesn't mind, but they will require that you do a parentage DNA on the puppies and the males and the studs, so that you can confirm which puppies came from which dad. And then you have to do 2 separate registrations, but there's nothing illegal about this. It's completely above board. It's fine to do. Why would you want to do this? Well, I'll give you an example. I've been in this situation before. You shipped semen out to a customer, and for various reasons the timing wasn't right, so they had to keep the semen for a while, and they weren't sure whether the semen was going to be any good, but they had their own stud. So they're like, okay, I'm going to use your stud, but I'm going to wait 12 hours and I'm going to use my stud as well, and we're going to do it twice. And hopefully when people do that, they let you know about it, because you as the stud owner should really be privy to this whole process. But so I just wasted 8 minutes of your time, just got 2 questions done. So I think we'll call that one done and start another one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.